y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a Cricut 101 video for you. We are going to talk about the slice tool in Cricut Design Space. So let's hop over to my computer and see what we can learn. Let's go. All right, I have started a new project in Cricut Design Space, and let's just talk about some of the properties of the slice tool. So I'm going to insert a shape. We'll start with this octagon right here. I'll go ahead and fill it with white so we can see it fully and make it just a bit bigger. Now, here is our basic shape. When you slice, you have to have two shapes together. So I'm going to copy and paste. You can also use the duplicate tool, which is over here in your sidebar. Copy and paste this, and then I'm going to just make it slightly smaller, and we will put it inside. So I have my two separate shapes. I can make one red and one yellow, so you can see the two shapes just like that. If I were to click make it over here, then it would sort them into two different mats. So let's see what happens when we slice. Before I slice, I want to make sure that these are aligned through the center. So I'm going to come up here, align center so that it's perfectly centered. Then in order to slice, I'm selecting both. So everything is selected, and I'm going to press slice, and let's see what happens. You can see over here in my list of cuts, I now have 3 different cuts going on. So I have my yellow hexagon, my red hexagon, and then a red outline of the hexagon. So if I wanted, I now could do these two shapes. Say I was planning on layering them anyway, perhaps with vinyl, and I didn't need this inner shape, so I could delete that. When I go to make it, then I have just my two shapes right there. So that's just basically how the slice tool works. Whenever you use it, you're going to end up with an additional cut. So let's try. Okay, one thing to remember about the slice tool, I'm going to insert 2 circles. We'll go with a red circle, then we'll duplicate that shape and add in a blue circle. One thing to remember is that when you slice, you can only slice 2 images at one time. So I'm going to select these 2 images. My slice tool has darkened over here, so I know it's available. I'm going to press slice, and this time it resulted in 4 cuts. So I have this half moon, this one, and then these 2, because they both overlap. So something that is cool to do, we maybe don't need both of these pieces, but maybe this one we wanted to change to purple as these 2 circles intersect, and you can start to see how you can make some pretty cool designs putting those all together. So at this point, I could then come in and I could add another circle if I wanted, and say I wanted to do this one and I wanted it to be yellow. So I can select this shape, I can select this one together. Let's see if I can do those. We'll pick these 2 shapes. I can press slice. Again, we end up with some extra cuts. So we have the yellow one, then we have this partial yellow circle, and then this little slice right here. So if I put that back, put this back, now I could turn my partial slice right here, turn it green. There we go. So you can start to make some pretty cool designs, which would be a lot of fun to play with. Now let's see how we can start working with more than 2 images. Okay, so I have 3 circles here, my red, yellow, and blue, and you can see if I select them all, then my slice tool does not darken. You can't slice with more than 2 images. So what I'm going to try to do is come over here to my sidebar. I'm going to click the blue. I'm going to press Control and then click, I'm going to press Command and then click the red. So both of those are selected, and now I have my slice tool available, so I can see that I have 4 resulting cuts right there. So let's delete this one, and let's turn this one to that purple that we were working with before. So now I have my red, purple, and blue. Now let's deal with the next 2. So we have the blue cut right here, and then we'll include the yellow. Let's slice and see what we end up with. All right, so now we have some interesting slices going on. What we're going to do is, let's leave that. Let's delete this one. We have our yellow. Now let's come in here and press yellow and red and hit slice one more time. So now I have all the parts. Here is what I want to do. I want this one, red and yellow, we will turn orange. I want this one right here, we will turn that one green. And then our slice, now this is interesting. So this one ended up with a slice right in the middle. So you know what I'm going to do is try this one more time and see, let's do this one. Actually, I'm going to select this yellow cut and this purple cut, and I'm going to press slice, and I believe I'll be left with a middle cut, which I was. So I can now have this middle part, we'll turn that black right there, perhaps. And then we will be able to delete some of these extra ones. So there it is, there's that yellow. Now I have this piece, this piece, this piece. All of these are separate. One extra piece hidden under there. Now I have all of these separate pieces, so I can cut them separately and then assemble them onto a shirt. And you can see how that's a useful tool, especially when working with vinyl, because when you're laying vinyl down on a shirt or a tumbler or something like that, you don't necessarily want it to overlap over and over. You end up with a really thick image. But if this is the image that you're going for, now you have all of the pieces there in all of the different colors. You can also use the slice tool to make some pretty cool effects. So I have the word retro right here, just entered with the basic text tool. Now I'm going to add a square, and I'm going to use my square basically just to cut off part of my word. So I'm going to unlock and bring it this way. I'm going to go ahead and fill this with white so I can see. So I'm going to bring it right about here, and then actually I'm going to do this. Let me change my retro to a lowercase r. We'll go like that. All right, so I'm going to come right about here, and then I'm going to pick these two and slice them. Before I slice them, I want to copy this retro. So I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to leave one of them down here and bring this forward. Okay, so I will put it right here, and then I'm going to slice these two. So what I'm left with, I have the cutout right here, which is pretty cool. And then I also have two different parts. So you can see, look at how all of those are layered. Let me show you what I was thinking of doing. I'm going to delete some of these extra pieces. Now I have my retro, and then I have this. So I'm going to change this one to blue, the dark blue, and I'm going to bring this one in the front. And you see how I can start to line these up to be different colors. So that one I'm going to do slightly lighter. Actually, we'll do a lot. So let's just duplicate this and layer these, and this will end up looking pretty cool, I think. So we'll duplicate it again and label them or layer them together. Duplicate again into a lighter blue, and then we'll come in with this one, bring it to the front. And do our lightest one. That's kind of cool. You could also layer them. So if these were all like that, and then you align them to the left. That's a pretty cool look. I like that. I think that's pretty neat, a pretty cool way to do that. So there's lots of fun things you can do. One last idea is getting that negative. So you can have your square like so. Whoa, nice and big. You can add, let's make our square blue. You can add your text right there in the middle. And then when you slice the two, you're left with this one, which is a cool way to do that, because then when you are recoloring these, you kind of get some extra options that you could work with. So imagine doing this, and now imagine slicing this together. So now you have the room to layer these different pieces, and it's a cool way to get some of this layered effect. The shadow effect can be pretty neat to play with on slicing. It takes some getting used to, for sure, especially if you're wanting to layer it up on something, but it's definitely worth the practice because it really lets you get, it gives you the ability to just customize your designs just a little bit more. So if I'm gonna group these two, I know those aren't lined up perfectly, but pretty close, and then I wanted to bring them back in, I should be able to line them back up into this image and end up with something pretty neat. So there's a lot of different possibilities with the slice tool. It's fun to play with and see what you can create. All right, I hope that little experiment into the slice tool was helpful for you, that you learned a few things. It is a fun tool to play with, so I encourage you to get into Design Space and give it a try. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I have links to purchase a Cricut Explorer Air 2 down below. Those are affiliate links, so it goes a long way to help support this channel. I really appreciate you shopping those links. All right, I hope you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.